All right, let's continue with the topic Christ within, Buddha within. So this is the fourth session, and it really doesn't matter whether or not you have joined the previous ones, because this is pretty much the same thing. So maybe I could say a few words about Mahasiddhahood. In Pemako we have, which is pretty unusual actually, we have the so-called Mahasiddha family of Mahasiddhas. So in case if you don't know, Mahasiddha means like a great accomplished master, male or female. And Mahasiddha is a synonym for a Buddha, for somebody who is fully enlightened, has completely purified the mind, has traversed through the bhumis, the grounds, has purified the energy field we all have. So in Pemako we have the so-called Mahasiddha family or group of fully enlightened masters who are there, who have what is that word? Have expressed their support to Pemako, to this style of Dharma work, what we are doing and practicing, and who are there to offer their support to any one of us, to offer their support spiritually, perhaps a support for bettering of health, but mainly spiritually or dharmically. So Jesus is one of those masters in Mahasiddha family. There is a page on our website about Mahasiddha family, so if you haven't read it through, you can go and check it out perhaps later. But it's a group of how many? Maybe 40 different Mahasiddhas, masters known from the past, from Christian tradition, Buddhist, Hindu tradition, mainly Buddhist and Hindus, but then a couple of others like Jesus and also Lao Tzu is there from China. So it's an unusual group of masters supporting our practice and our community. And as you know, if you have joined retreats for 2-3 years, we turn to different masters regardless of their so-called denomination, whether they are Buddhist or Hindus or Christian. We turn to them for blessings and support. And when I refer to spiritual support, I'm of course talking about transmission, tantric transmission that results in recognizing our own Buddha nature, our own basic nature. So we do this a lot, as you know, mainly with Guru Rinpoche and Yeshe Tsogyal, because those two are the the ones, and especially Guru Rinpoche, who has set up the whole tantric system, the deities that we practice, and that is very important. So we mainly practice Guru Yoga with Guru Rinpoche and Yeshe Tsogyal, but whenever we have chance with others also, including Jesus, Krishna and others. So we have winter retreat coming up later this month from 27th until 3rd of January plus 3 extra days. And I'm sure that during those 7 or 10 days we have time to receive the blessings of other masters than just Guru Rinpoche or Yeshe Chogyal. And to me personally, this has been very important over the years. To meet masters in my own body and in my mind, in my heart, to really feel the presence of Mahasiddhas. You've probably heard me say before, but there's nothing like it in the world than to be in the company of a Mahasiddha. You know, there's nothing like it in spirituality, in yoga, than be in the company of a Mahasiddha. Because Mahasiddhas are completely free, are spiritually realized, and everybody else aren't. Like I always say that, you know, we basically have 2 categories of beings. We have Buddhas or Mahasiddhas, and then we have the rest. You know, in Buddhism there is categorization of different classes, different types of beings, and only Buddhas or Mahasiddhas are outside the cyclical existence, mind that goes around in cycles, compulsively and impulsively. So it is extremely fortunate to have this opportunity, even to have a karmic connection, to meet a Mahasiddha once in life. This is, you know, very rare. You know, if you look at people, you think of people who you know, how many of them have met any Dharma teacher or have met any Mahasiddha? Not many. You probably, like me, you know, well, of course, you know, I know you Pemako folks, but apart from that, not that many people. But it is very, very fortunate. Fortunate to have that connection, and extremely fortunate to have learned Guru Yoga, which is the practice, the technique, how we can invite the presence and in consequence blessings of any master. And it doesn't matter if the master is physically alive, or has perhaps deceased 1 year ago, or has deceased 1,000 years ago, or 10,000 years ago. Makes no difference whatsoever, because every time when somebody attains Buddhahood, there is kind of like an, how should I say, like an imprint in time and space, that person, the one who attains Buddhahood, can from then on serve as a gateway or doorway to the basic state. And this is of course what we do every time with Guru Rinpoche and Yeshe Chogyal, Jesus, Krishna and so on. They actually serve us and help us just by being there, just by being present. And when we invite the blessings, it's kind of like we go through a doorway, or enter through them by taking in their blessings into our bodies, minds and hearts. We enter our basic state, our own basic state, not that of theirs, not that of somebody else, but we use the gift that they offer us, sort of like using a walking stick. And we keep using it until we have no need for it anymore, when we become Mahasiddhas ourselves. All beings have Buddha nature. All beings have Buddha within, Christ within. This already perfect and complete, utterly pure and positive and loving nature within. All beings, every one of us. This we should never forget. This we should always remember. And if anybody tries to convince otherwise, that is not true. So, in Christianity there are really awful things that they tell people about original sin, and that we cannot become Christ-like, or that if we do something silly or stupid that we couldn't enter heaven or something like this. This is awful, just awful. All beings have Buddha nature, and that cannot be taken away from us, nor it can be given to us, but it can be pointed out. And this is of course what the tantric method is about. Tantric yoga constantly points out to the basic nature, ever loving, ever pure, ever dynamic, of ours. So historically, as you know, Jesus or Isha is considered as the founder of the Christian religion. But I think that, Jesus, according to Christian sources, there are the famous missing years of his biography that the official Christian sources don't remain quiet. They have been removed of his life account, unfortunately. But other accounts say that, he went to India and studied Dharma with, back in those days, about 2000 years ago, different practices of yoga and tantra were abound in all of India and Himalayan regions. So, there are loads of ancient temples all over the Indian continent where they have practiced for thousands and thousands of years, done tantric practices. There are temples of different deities, different spiritual symbols such as lingas, different types of lingas. I visited a few of them, really impressive places, really impressive. So other sources say that Jesus when he was young, he traveled to India and studied there for over 15 years and then came back to, I think, to teach the Dharma, to point out the basic state, Buddha nature, to his friends, to his family, to people of his country. But it didn't go that well. Unfortunately, again, it didn't go well, and I have read Bible a few times in my life, but I can sense that it's not an authentic teaching of Isha. So that's why I don't quote the Bible. I'd love to do that, but feeling that it's been altered and edited so many times, I just rather go directly to him, because I know to do that as a tantric practitioner, to turn to him directly and receive his blessings. So this is why in these 4 sessions we have done exactly that over and over again. But if we look at Jesus and his, there is the legend of him, being crucified, him passing away, his body, his remains being like put inside this cloth and then being put into a cave for a few days, and then his body disappearing. This is a classical, if you study the rainbow body phenomena of Tibetan Buddhism, especially of Nyingma and Bön schools, there are loads of stories like this. So if you compare Jesus' story to the stories of Tibetan great Dzogchen practitioners, there's no difference whatsoever. Right? So, similar phenomena happens to literally to this day. We can hear of, in Dzogchen teachings there are few other different categories, but I like to speak of small rainbow body and full rainbow body. So small rainbow body, which we can hear the news from Tibet up until the last case of small rainbow body, where a practitioner died and the physical body started shrinking and shrank to the size of a small baby, skull and everything. The whole body just shrinks small over the period of several days after the heart stops. The last time when the news came of such case was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And before that, during the last decade, there has been like 4, maybe 3 or 4 cases like that. So this literally happens now, still happens. But full rainbow body is much more rare, but it still happens historically. It also, in full rainbow body, the physical body disappears. Physical body, I repeat that, disappears. So there is no physical remains at all, just like in Isha's case. So I think that the last case of that, I may not be correct on this one, but there was a Bön master called Sharja Tasi Gyalchen, who passed away in 1930s. I think he attained full rainbow body. I'm not 100% of that, but if not full, then small. But full rainbow body phenomena also is known in Hindu yoga, Hindu Tantra. Ramalinga, who is one of the Mahasiddhas in Mahasiddha family, he passed away, left his body in 1880 in southern India, in Tamil Nadu. Ramalinga is a very famous one, and he's quite recent in history, 140 years ago. And there was like official police reports of that incident happening. So it's quite recent. And another really interesting account of this is from China, from the late 1980s. It's you can find it from Open Heart blog. There is a story entry entitled something like Taoist attains rainbow body. in late 1980s, I'm not sure if it was in Beijing, but there was an very old Taoist temple, and some master who was also very old, and he disappeared in red light in the middle of, what was it, like over 100 people present, including how do you say, like observator of the Chinese Communist Party. So it happened there in the old temple, visible to over 100 people. So in this light, the story and the events related to Ishanath, Jesus Christ, are not uncommon at all. Very common. So this is the world of yoga and tantra. Really going beyond, realizing the basic nature that is marked by existential freedom and love. This freedom and love is full of pure energy, full of pure light. And this pure energy and pure light, it consumes the physical body, kind of eats up the physical body when death arrives. And we will keep seeing this phenomena. Shrinking of bodies in the case of small rainbow body, perfection of 12th Bhumi and all the previous ones, or disappearing of the physical body entirely with the perfection of the 13th. We will keep seeing this in the world of yoga around the world. Whenever some yogi or yogini, male or female practitioner, reaches those stages. I have sometimes, when also like miracles and miracles of different kinds are often associated with yogis and practitioners. And miraculous events such as some yogic adept molding a solid rock in hands as if it was soft clay, or as in many sacred places in India, Nepal, Tibet, there are footprints and handprints in solid rock of different masters. But maybe it sounds funny. I remember Lama John Hogue, he was kind of laughing it because I was telling him that I have personally never seen handprints or footprints, or I actually might have seen in India, but anyway, I don't take it very seriously. I have never seen anybody do that, so I don't believe that. I don't believe, and this was actually Guru Rinpoche's advice, that as long as you don't actually see something happen, you don't need and you shouldn't believe. But Lama John was kind of laughing because at the same time, me personally, I have no doubt about the rainbow body phenomena. So there you have it, I have some kind of dissonance about this thing, but somehow You can formulate your own opinion, but sometimes we have intuitions about things, and my intuition about rainbow body phenomena, having met masters like Guru Rinpoche, Jesus, Lao Tzu's, and dozens of different masters over thousands of times. For that reason, I don't have doubt. Maybe I wouldn't have doubt about molding solid rocks if I had met Guru Rinpoche in the physical and actually seen it. Maybe, but that's not the case. So, I just wanted to say a couple of things about this rainbow body phenomena, and what, according to modern photographs and accounts, happens, this small rainbow body, that it still happens to this day. And I wanted to say a little bit about the Mahasiddha family, because this autumn I've given these 4 sessions on entitled Christ Within, Buddha Within, but I kind of feel like doing similarly, like 1 session a month next year, early next year, about the Mahasiddha family. Just hanging out with different Mahasiddhas, having good tantric sessions like that. Let's recognize the basic state together. Together, all of us together. For the sake of attaining Buddhahood, full enlightenment as soon as possible, for the sake of all beings, for the sake of all sentient beings. This is not a particularly spiritual or sacred experience, but something very down to earth. Kind of like the ultimate normalization. The ultimate normalization. That's how I see it. We have the so-called Samsaric mind, centered around the notion of me, I, self, that obscures and distorts and skews things, sabotages the natural experience that we could have. That is not normal. That is distortion. That is not right. But our basic nature is called basic because it is something foundational, something basic, something very basic, something very normal. And of course, if and when we can glimpse our basic state, kind of momentarily jump out of that unnormal Is that a word, or is it abnormal? Anyhow, this skewed mind of ours, when we can drop it for a moment and experience our basic nature, this means that we not only have it, but that we can fully establish it in our body-mind. That we can fully establish it. We can remove the abnormal distortions and regain normalcy, sobriety, settledness, peace. Such a peace that nothing disturbs it. Establishing this basic nature doesn't solve all the problems of the world, but it solves our existential pain. Actually, I would say that it actually does have the power of solving all the problems in the world, but it happens only through having the experience, every person, firsthand. My recognition won't solve your confusions, and yours won't solve mine. Everybody has their own, same basic nature. And this basic nature is the nature of freedom, liberty. And it's the same for everybody. If I could say it like that, it doesn't have, this basic nature doesn't say that somebody else should have more of this basic peace, this basic nature, than someone else. It is the same for all. It cannot be different between people, between groups, between nationalities, between genders. Cannot be different. This is the teaching of yoga, that religions and ideologies repeatedly try to distort, repeatedly try to take advantage of. very light, not heavy, very light. At the same time, kind of serious through being so firm, so grounded, but at the same time completely playful, joyful. Relax the body into it. Relax your body into it. Relax your body into it and notice how much aliveness, liveliness there is, full of life. Bristling with life. Radiating joy, radiating happiness, radiating bliss. I am not just saying fancy phrases. These are pointers. Recognize this basic joyfulness, basic blissfulness, basic happiness in your own being. In the body, in the heart area inside the chest, in the head, in your whole energy, in your whole being. Still for the sake of all sentient beings. We need to keep that bodhicitta with us and use it every now and then, because if we don't, then the charge, the blessings, the recognition won't cover the whole scope of the mind. It won't cover all bhumis. So that's why we go back to bodhicitta and stretch open whenever it's needed. Again, stretch open the subtle body. What is discovered every time, in every session, be it short or long in duration, what is discovered is this basic state where there is nothing mystical, nothing spiritual, I could say, that is completely normal and grounded. Sober, clear, true aliveness. True aliveness. And this simply is our basic nature. Maybe it can be a disappointment that there is no heavenly trumpets or mystical, spiritual, exalted experiences or visions, but at the same time it is fulfilling because this is who we are. This is who we truly are. Without internal conflicts, without issues of any kinds, without negative habits, destructive habits, or addictions. Just full and complete as it is. Let's refresh our situation a little bit by doing physical dynamic concentration. So we already have in Vajra body, we use the tantric elements, mantras, visualizations, combined with breath retention and physically contracting muscles. Here we already have that Buddha nature, element of Buddha nature checked, because we are recognizing basic nature, so we don't need mantras. But let's do breath retention and contracting the muscles. So in case if there is somebody who doesn't know physical dynamic concentration, we inhale, fill the lungs, and just after when you have filled the lungs, you physically tense, contract, flex all the muscles of the body. And you hold the breath and the muscles tensed for a moment, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds, as long as it feels comfortable, not forcing it any longer. And then we relax the tensing and exhale. And then we keep doing this for, I don't know, let's see, 1 or 2 minutes. So you do it in your own pace. And if you need to take in between breaths, if you want to do 5 and take a short break and do another 5, or if you want to do repetitions throughout the 1 or 2 minutes, just a long series of squeezes, you can do that. Light or heavy squeeze or anything in between. Alright, please begin. For the sake of all beings. You can sit or stand or change posture if you feel like it. Just have fun with it. All muscles. put focus, concentration into the squeeze. Put your mind into it. And then when you relax the focus. A little bit more. All right. Then sit and relax for a moment. Let breathing, let it be free, not arresting breathing in any way. Physical body completely relaxed, limp, sitting upright, but soft tissues limp. All right, stay with it. Lying down for the next 15 minutes. I'll let you know when to get up. Let's continue sitting a moment before short basic prayers. You can let the body relax even more than before. Let's chant, may all beings be free. Couple of minutes, repeating the relative bodhicitta prayer several times. Really wishing it, may all beings be free. Putting your mind, putting your energy, really wishing it to all beings. May all beings be free. 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 And then letting go of the prayer and letting it go. Dedication of merit, just once. May all beings receive my accumulated merit. I dedicate the merit to the refuge and to all sentient beings. Join hands.